We've got another Saturday night special with the Buffalo Bills flying out to LA to take on the Los Angeles Chargers, who have put out a new job opening on LinkedIn for a new head coach. So if you're interested, feel free to apply. I actually don't know if it's on LinkedIn. I don't know how that whole process works, but how crazy would that be, Ryan, if we're just scrolling through work board one day? It's like Los Angeles Chargers
Head coach.
vacancy,
Yeah.
Chargers head coach, head of like football
Hey,
operations.
look, I definitely know I could manage a game better than Brandon Staley. So
Man, I think that's just also part of the business. And like at the same time, I saw what was that stat of like them in like one score games. And I think part of that, I was thinking about it. Part of that
6-20 or something.
sucks. Say it again.
Were they like 6-20?
Something like that. And it's like part of that sucks because then it's like you're going up against Patrick Mahomes and some of these games where like things are out of your control. But then I thought about it though, it's like how many games you're right, like where it was his game management or his decision making
A lot.
that was just atrocious. That did not set them up for success. Like,
No.
and
Yeah.
I was even thinking about it too. You're probably going to have a team now that's going to have at minimum a top 10 pick at minimum. It could honestly be top 5. Because I don't know how many other games they're going to be winning this year. They're not going to win this one. Spoiler alert on my pick. But you go look at they did draft. They have a first round receiver from last year, Quentin Johnson, who still needs a lot of developing. But you still have Keenan Allen. You still have Mike Williams as well, who unfortunately tore his ACL. You're going to have this top 5, top 10 pick. Imagine now you add, let's say, Brock Bowers with Justin Herbert in this offense. They need a tight end, but they also need a receiver as well. Go get Malik Neighbors also. And also too on top of it, you have a lot of good defensive talent. They have been decimated with injuries this year, but you still have Khalil Mack. You still have Joey Bosa as well. Tuli Tupelotu, I think I did decent there actually, has had a solid rookie year. You still have Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James. You still have a lot of good talent on this team, which is why I think this firing was necessary because he couldn't do anything with it. I think it's going to be one of the more luxurious job openings, I would think, compared to it. Honestly, compared to your Patriots, if I'm being completely honest, like it of all the work that you have to go and do with very little around there, like there's already talent here with this team.
Yeah, I think different things are appealing about each job, but that's a different video.
Absolutely, that's still a different video. I'm just talking about if you're looking at overall talent, and like if you're an offensive minded coach, like if you're looking at Ben Johnson here with I'm pretty sure that's his name. With
Ben Johnson,
Bobby Slowick with the Texans.
Yeah,
I think that it's going to be an interesting landing spot here, and or an interesting opportunity for whoever has the ability to get this head coaching job. To be frank, that's all I really want to talk about with the Chargers in this game. Because other than that, there's not really too much else they could talk about is outside of that coaching.
So the only thing, I guess, there was a bright spot in the game last week, and I will say, for me, that was Easton Stick. I actually thought looked good in the actual opportunities that he was given. He was sacked a ton, and I know he had that unfortunate interception to Jack Jones, but other than that, at one point he was 20 for 27 for 200 yards and a touchdown, and actually looked like a serviceable backup there. Is it not Demario Davis? That's the linebacker. Who's the receiver from TCU? I thought looked decent.
I'll look it up here. Trey. Darius Davis.
Darius Davis, that's right. I want to say Demario Douglas, because he reminds me of the Patriots Demario Douglas. But Darius Davis, I actually like. He's a good punt returner and kick returner and a good slot option. And so there's still some talent left on this Chargers team, but I think you look, Herbert done for the year, Williams done for the year, Keenan Allen, it should probably just pack it in with his age.
Yeah.
So they're just done. New head coach or an interim head coach is going to come in and they'll probably just lose the next 3 games.
Man, I know we're talking about hiring from outside, but then also I'd be curious if you gave Kellen Moore a shot. I'd be curious to see he's a guy I think I almost would want to keep, who is that offensive-minded guy. But I would say that, though, if you get an offensive-minded coach, he's going to be the one doing the play calls. He's going to be the one doing all this stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. Also, too, what's Kellen Moore's contract? If he's on just a 1 year, does he want to go somewhere else and have that opportunity? So it'll be interesting to see. But to your point, though, Easton Stick, stat line-wise, 23 for 32, 257, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked 3 times, overall rating of 113.7. It just got off to just a horrible start.
And like in the first quarter, they give up 21 points in the first quarter, and like that's one already hard to come back from. Like he was sacked like 4 times in the first half. Like,
well, I just said 3 times, but
3 times. But like, still, he was constantly under pressure the entire game, and it was just a really poor offensive performance. And on the flip side, what Buffalo just did against Dallas was extremely impressive, 31-10. And they ran the ball all over this Dallas defense. And the Dallas defense is undersized, and they like to play fast, but still, they're one of the top defenses in the league. And you look at run defenses, and the LA Chargers have been a perennial bottom 10 run defense team for the last 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they're as bad this year.
Yeah.
In the run defense category, but they're still not good.
No, not great. Just in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some of that might have been lost because teams knew how much they could pass the ball against them. But here, like the Los Angeles Chargers, about below average, I would say. And so I think that's the thing. Moving on to the Bills, though, like watching this, it's I think maybe Sean McDermott and the offensive and the GM, office coordinator GM, listen to the Tracy Take, because against finally the Bills team that we like they've been playing the way that we've been saying like they need to play. It is like they had a balanced offense, like an offense that could run the ball a traditional way. It can open things up, and man, they just absolutely mauled the Dallas Cowboys. They made the Eagles look embarrassed because of how dominant they were able to run the ball. That's supposed to be the Eagles thing. The Eagles are supposed to be able to run the ball all over you, and Bills did it with perfection. James Cook had an absolute just tremendous day, and I think I was even listening to the Sunday Night Football or the pregame everything. And like Josh Allen was talking about, didn't really have to throw the ball too much. It's like we ran the ball and we just kept getting the job done. That's essentially what he said. Something like that. Yeah. Go watch what he actually said. But to his point, though, it's like normally up to this point, we've seen Josh Allen have to be the Superman, have to carry the team. And now they finally have the offensive line in front of him. They have the running offense in front of him. James Cook is developing into one of the better backs in the league. Don't have to rely on Stephon Diggs nearly as much. I saw one stat and actually I think proved why the Bills are being better. His overall average yards per game has gone down, but that's because they're able to distribute the ball to other guys outside of just trying to Gabe Davis deep. Dalton Kincaid has come on strong. Khalil Shakur has come on strong. James Cook obviously has come on strong, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. There's a lot of different ways that this team can attack you outside of Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, or Josh Allen using his legs. That was kind of their two main plays, it seemed like, for the past 2 years or so. So this team is now playing like a true Super Bowl contender for the longest of times, going back to, I would say, that 2020 AFC Championship where they barely lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in that miraculous game.
Yeah.
I think that they're playing some of the top-notch football here. I think they can take any of the teams in the league. Maybe outside the Niners. Niners might be the only one, but I don't think anybody could take the Niners personally.
It's going to be interesting, I think, for the Bills. I think maybe the last few weeks they've taken advantage of competition that might have been, I don't want to say overhyped, but like I think, the Bills. Like I mean, they played.
They beat Kansas City.
Yeah, but that was a really close game, and there were a lot of really controversial calls. There's
a lot of controversial calls in every single game this entire week.
Yeah, I know.
The Eagles, they dominated the Jets, and that's not saying much. But it was that Broncos loss.
But again, in that Jets, they had 3 short fields that all resulted in touchdowns. That was
Oh
opportunity
no, I'm not.
by the
I'm not
defense.
counting that. Sorry, I'm not counting that as a dominant, they beat a good team type win.
And they looked good against the Eagles. I really don't think they looked very good against Kansas City in that game. I just don't think Kansas City is that good right now.
Yeah. Holy cow! I'm just not realizing this. Josh Allen 7 for 15, 94 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, it was like the fewest pass attempts in his career in a win. And then they come in. Dallas on the road is not quite the same team, and they do play smaller on the defensive side of the ball.
See, but that's not an excuse though. Like just because it's not the same team on the road. I mean, you can make an argument that it was
no.
at home. But
I'm just saying it was a favorable matchup for them, like to come in and run the ball as much as they did.
Oh yeah,
and to their credit, they did do it well. They are, I think, on the upswing.
Yeah.
Right. And I just want to see them kind of continue to improve. They have a really easy next couple games against the Chargers and then New England, and then that Week 18 game against the Dolphins for the Bills. I am very excited to see because that could potentially be for the division because the Dolphins have a really tough matchup this week against the Cowboys. And then I believe they play. They have another tough game in 2 weeks. It's loading. Baltimore. They're at Baltimore in 2 weeks. So that's going to be a really interesting close to the schedule because Buffalo could potentially, for as bad as they were playing in the middle of the season, sneak out this division if all things go to plan.
They're playing the right kind of football at the right time of the year. The performance today where they were just running the ball down their throats, I think now every team's going to have to be – they're going to see that game, going to see that performance, be prepared for it. And I think it's going to ease things up for Josh Allen to use his legs to distribute the ball to the playmakers on the outside. Like this was the type of football that we've been saying for honestly the entirety of the channel that they needed to play to be legit Super Bowl contenders. And that was one of the things coming in is like they need to establish that, and that's why we think they're not going to be able to do it to make the playoffs is because did they make the right offensive line adjustments or additions this year? Are they going to be able to become a successful running team? And they've been doing it these past couple of weeks, and so they're getting the confidence at the right time. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're both going to be picking these teams. But before we get into our predictions on why, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new content. Ryan and I, we have a goal of getting to 2,333 subscribers. So any help will be greatly appreciated. We are about 130 or so away. If we trying to get that goal by the end of the year, we would get 2,000 new subscribers within this calendar year if we hit that goal, which would be absolutely phenomenal. So like, subscribe, and Ryan, do you think the Chargers have a chance in this game?
No.
Okay.
I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. I think you said it right. They're playing the right kind of football at the right time of the year. I'm not ready to say that they're a Super Bowl contender because I still think the Baltimore's. I even think Kansas City in late January would be a much tougher matchup. They're definitely going in the right direction, though. I think if they continue to play like this, they could come in, sneak the division out right at the very end, and potentially have a home playoff game or two. So, I'm going with Buffalo.
I think I look at it right now when I say that statement outside of the Niners, and the Niners might be the only. I mean, and we're going to be previewing the Ravens-Niners, which that's going to be the ultimate test, I think, of who can contend with the Niners this season. But I look at the current division leaders right now. I mean, Buffalo stomped Miami earlier in the year. Baltimore, that one's a question mark. I will say, have they actually played? I actually don't know if they played.
They haven't played Baltimore.
They haven't played Baltimore. Okay.
Because Cincinnati won the division last year.
Yeah, that's it. That is it. And so, I mean, they just beat Kansas City on the road. I'm looking at Jacksonville right now. I know Jacksonville beat them in London earlier in the year. I think the way Baltimore's playing right now and the Jags are a little banged up on injuries, I think that would be a very unique game to kind of analyze. Not saying that the Jags can't win, but I think the Bills right now, and they're playing the right, as I said, they're playing the right kind of football. They're able to run the ball down your throat. And at the same time, Josh Allen can go throw 300-plus yards on you. So I'm picking Buffalo, by the way, obviously, if it wasn't for I hope the Chargers go and have fun and play a little backyard football because I think a lot of guys are going to be playing for their jobs for next season.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out of leave a comment down below on how much you think the Buffalo Bills are going to win by. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.